I happy for Gambian talent.
Wow.
Because the people is good, is very nice. Your boss is very good. I'm very happy, okay? Wow. Yeah, I learned me and my name is Naitura. Wow. This is talent. This is talent. Wow, talent. Okay? Wow. Yeah, man. Wow. I respect this Gambian talent.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Talent touch. I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Wow. Any moment, any time, any night. Okay? Respect.
Iba Korea munna nafate Koreala Iba jawya munna nafate jawya labi Iba Korea munna nafate Koreala nafigi la sila manja kula bambali la sila manja Uya fala la sila manja ngomari masale bokelela nafigi la sila manja ja kula bambali la sila manja Uya fala la sila manja muna ngomari masale bokelela Yo Gambia ntalam albadi malam nena jeli suso ntele bari janto bi Gambian talent show mamo be tantala mal jayla albadi malam the queen of manding nena jeli suso the golden voice wow mbal tantala mbal jayla bake bafala ko album o kanale December on the Benjamin Hall akana fo mo ko mashallah Gambian talent show
Alnimbara Gambian talent promotion Alnimbara Allodulala Alibekarandirola entertainment Alibabelela Niakono Gambian talent promotion Gambian talent Allakudiatanye Alinga badia, munanga badia. Politico, ainati yenda selada. Ayodu wanye oduwe, ani oduwa. Na bosa te fomino. Fomino jaganda yidi. Ni mo si fa le bitara Gambia jam ci lolu man ko hey no ko de be mo do ko la sai no boss no menu fula wala kunduka sanka dum barda fula kundudo na tan ndo sanka ma
yeah but it's just out there and I have somewhere to go
no problem some seconds
yeah it's yes
some seconds one moment jam
all right okay just
some seconds yeah no
igodi yo iga chene kuwo men foni nga kuwo topotole okay nga keno soto rumbale keno nyingalo kutale je kuwo beti matale kukilinde kurangote je jiyoteje bar silo membeje ko de da be odugu dugu kan okay sambi veje de da keno lo ku batale rumba that's fine ala price though almost $300,000 $300,000 yeah that's perfect okay iteria ngataje
no kadamundo
Kata rumba.
Rumba. Yeah. Inna lillahi. Rumba bi woto mudula zamde ko demal plan bi. Kerewalu samalu ni na fo sifa do teta rumba. Rumba mo kata siwol. Na ko makilim foy. Ngoy gambe jela jambi ni la fa kenola. Ila fa kenola. Ini Kairasu Properties and Investment Limited yo ñomoy. Kairasu. Okay. Ni ni ñomoy don isewol. Ye kenol soto tujere. Ye kenol soto jambu. Ye keno so bla dami da ka fuje la men daran ka fen bi jam daran ka jam okay mun je courant be je ni la rumba na boy su goy Kairasu Properties and Investment Limited ye ida male ñun no ñun sun karo bu ñana la promo kono ibe la men daran kay ba wa fi la $200,000 ka ndu ni la fa fanan ka do man joy ka fa me mortgage ibe $250,000 la modi ndu no 6 months karo kon le ba be jola ndu ba jola nyaadi ibe 50% la duna ni 50% no dundi ñun to men to je ka do man jo fa ñin kar woro kono yaba Kairasu Properties and Investment Limited ñun sungaro kono ko mo be borje $200,000 la meng daranka ibe je wafi la mo le borkan na boss ta jede wolton place do mi yalan ko mo ñanda fa la je
I think I will go in for that
thank you
go ite la ko do be jewul mo hasidi alti way imanya ne da benna business o tinyal
wala ko business on dogala
no imanya na nyin kala way wala ko boss ite bi me hadulo du def tan so de be la moto ko do ne la jam
ko la fisara rumba kere wa
I'm really sorry okay be botunga ni dota okay I think Kairasu suits my business more
yes no problem na boss basti je ni ana fm fm ko bande be tonya la fule bi mol ka bor da me bela fele bor wolto sa banko be ka bor da me bela fele bor wolto kay rasu mol ka bor wolto la kenolu be bla be foto fele sa ko jam ban ni la fa fele tali la office fen ni jankarba ameni jam
okay
jara do atlas essentiel ñu bu ñoo ñu sando do lebe je ni be futale je drop ibe keno sotu ibe sewol
perfect
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are listening to or watching us from. This is your favorite show coming from the Gambian Talents TV, the Nyohobai show, brought to you by Pa Ousmane Diouf. Maa ngi leen a nuyu fu ñu waay di dégloo ci ñeneenti ko ñi àdduna penku xarfa ngopp wala ngalandu ñu ngi leen naan asalaamaaleykum nga mobe kontong al tool nal kontong wala alebe dunia tonko nano dawo daranding. Your favorite show that I don't normally bring any Tom, Dick, and Harry to talk to. Yesterday, this time, we were on air with who? Mr. Njai Mane, one of the diehard supporters of President Adama Barrow, a member of the President Barrow Youth Movement for National Development, who used to be a member of the United Democratic Party and is no more a member. Yes, you've seen how the interview went with Njai Mane. We've had some interesting discussions with him and how it unfolded. Yes, for those of you that are following us on Facebook, salute to you. We greet you all in the spirit of Gambianism. Suñ bokki joolaa yeeg poli nag xam naa ne yéen a ngi kontaan si jamono jiñ nekk nii ndax weeri koor bi sori na fiñ nekk nii ñu ngi leen ay bëggee képp ku ñuy déglu di ñu seetaan képp koo xam ne nag yaa ngi ñoo seetaan right now. The show is live on the Gambian Talents TV on both Facebook and YouTube, and of course we are also streaming it on WhatsApp. If you want to see our guest today, you can log on to our YouTube channel. The link we have already shared, and then you will be glad to you will definitely see our guest, Mr. George, who is the Gambian Consul to Germany. Suñ mbokki Gambian la nag ñu jow ko tuuti si olof. George nanga def
maa ngi fi.
Naka Gambia?
Yeah, I am here in Germany today.
And
I was in Gambia last week.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to talk to you, Pa Ousmane.
Oh, okay.
As you know, we always hold several meetings and sort of meetings in Germany. The situation is complicated here.
And thank you for talking to us, George. I must say I appreciate your professionalism since I got in touch with you to actually have you on this show to talk to the Gambian people about things concerning the Gambia and Gambians in Germany and everything else. But for the sake of our listeners, our viewers who don't know you, I would like you to introduce yourself. I mean, obviously, George. If you say George, where are you from originally?
Well, I am from Stuttgart, south of Germany.
Okay.
And I have sort of started in 2014 in the Gambia with nursery schools.
Okay.
Set up nursery schools in Bruford. And then what is very surprising, many might think I'm German. How come that I sort of work for the Republic of the Gambia in Germany and sort of represent the Gambia in Germany? Well, the thing is pretty easy. If you look around in Europe, there is an embassy in Brussels, in Belgium, another embassy in London, in the United Kingdom, and another embassy in Paris in France. And there is no embassy of the Republic of the Gambia in Germany. And in order to sort of have institutions, the Gambia set up honorary consulates in Germany. So therefore, several people were chosen to be representatives of Gambia and to sort of help Gambians in Germany, but also look after concerns that Germans might have who want to go to the Gambia, invest in the Gambia, all sorts of different issues. So I get that asked a lot. I am sort of just a helping hand in Germany, and I belong officially to the embassy of the Republic of the Gambia in Brussels, in Belgium.
Okay, so you are part of the Gambian delegation, or Gambian, we would say diplomats. Yes, and you work under the Gambian embassy in Brussels. You are directly reporting or responsible for reporting to the Gambian embassy in Brussels, if I hear you right?
Yeah. So I sort of work for Excellency Teneng Mbajati, and it's also very common. Germany, for example, Germany doesn't have an embassy in the country Andorra, and there's no consulate there, so they just also chose some local person from Andorra to sort of set up an honorary consulate there. So you have to see me as a supporter and a helping hand in order to have the Gambia present in Germany.
Okay. Why you? Why George? You are out of millions of Germans. And of course, there are Gambians. People will ask. Just this morning, not even long ago, I was talking to somebody and I told them that I'll be having you as my guest. And he's like, oh, what is their name? When I said, he's like, that name doesn't sound Gambian. Is he Gambian? I said, no. And the person is like, among all the thousands of Gambians we have in Germany, why would they select George to be the honorary consul of Gambia in Germany? Why?
Yeah, it was exactly very good question. It was my link to the Gambia with the schools, and also to have honorary consuls. It's very common to choose somebody from the country where the honorary consul is set up. So that means you have you manage the language. In my case, German. So it's a common thing that to be an honorary consul. Most of the time, locals are chosen from that actual country. So, for example, Gambia also has an honorary consulate in Poland, and they also chose a Polish lady in Poland to be an honorary consul of the Gambia in Poland. So it's the link to the country, in my case being German, being linked to Germany, but also having a close link to Gambia by sort of being active in the Brufut region with 3 schools, so to say.
Thank you for answering the question. Go ahead. You have something else to add?
Yeah. Next step would be that, the Gambia would set up in the future, you never know, maybe an embassy in Germany. And then they, of course, would have official Gambian diplomats in Germany. But up to now, there used to be always 4 honorary consulates.
People will still further argue that, yes, there are, if you talk about the language difference, there are Gambians who have lived in Germany for a long time and they speak the German language well. They even naturalize and hold German citizenship, have kids there and the like. For example, here in the United States, they have just started having honorary consuls. In the state of North Carolina, for example, they just have one like Wakambai, who is a Gambian, used to be a comedian and an actor in Gambia, a Gambian who lives there, who is actually the honorary consul. So what would be your reaction to people who will still say that, well, they could have chosen from the thousands of Gambians who are there, who have lived there 20, 30, 40 years, have kids and know the language and know the ins and outs?
Yeah, you're very right. You're very right. I mean, in that case, you'd have to sort of address the government in the Gambia, or you'd have to talk to the embassy in Brussels and see if they, want to sort of replace us by Gambians. The thing is, we also work on a voluntary basis. So there is no money flowing from the Gambian government or from the German government. So this is a voluntary post. And as you can imagine, it's also very time consuming. There are different figures. They talk about up to 35,000 Gambians in Germany. And I get inquiries every day from Gambians who need passports, which is not possible yet to have a passport issued in Germany. And we also get inquiries about help of marriages, Gambians marrying Germans, or we also have Gambian couples or Gambian fathers or mothers who have children born in Germany. And so we're trying to help out with all the different issues. And then now, since FTI is heavily sending tourists to the Gambia, again, we also get different questions about visa and everything you can imagine. So the phone is ringing every day. We get letters and emails every day. And I am very concerned. Like, if I can't take the call, I make sure I call back. And I answer every letter and every email because I really want to help everybody and see what I can do for them.
So, pour muy leer, You are not on Gambian taxpayers' money, Gambian dollars.
No,
The Gambia
no,
government is not sending you a check every month to say,
no.
hey, George,
It's
for your
voluntary.
service. Huh?
It's a voluntary
It's
post.
a voluntary plus. You
Yeah.
hold a Gambian diplomatic passport, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of the benefits, or we would say privileges, to hold a Gambian diplomatic passport, right?
Example. Yes. For
Okay.
example.
So what would be your reaction to folks who would say that, well, folks like George will just take this from Gambia government or other smaller countries to take advantage of them because with the diplomatic passport, at least you are considered a diplomat from that country and you have diplomatic immunity. You can travel and do things so that you'll be able to do a lot of dubious activities, of course, and then eventually they'll be like, well, he's just another Gambian. So George will end up staining the image of the Gambia by traveling with the Gambian diplomatic passport.
No, not at all. For example, when you travel to Egypt,
Mhm.
I was in Egypt and I traveled with my German passport. I don't really use the Gambian passport to travel, and I'm also not involved in any illegal business or criminal business,
Okay.
not at all. So I wouldn't. Also, with the immunity, we are just honorary consuls, so we're not what you would call maybe like a full-blood diplomat. So. There is no really immunity in that sense. There's a big difference between an official ambassador, an official consul, and an honorary consul.
Okay, that's fair. So you go to Brussels a lot, right? Or you communicate with Brussels a lot, even if
Yeah,
you're in Egypt.
I talked to Brussels. We meet up. We just met up at the end of April.
Okay.
And but also, you always have to think. I still have a proper job and a family. So most of the time, I'm taking phone calls, I'm writing emails, I'm sending out letters, and so altogether, this is very time consuming already.
Oh, okay. Um, I will come to your project in Gambia, but a lot of people are concerned. Gambians, not only in Germany but around the world, are concerned with consular services that they get. For example, somebody wants to take their child to Gambia who is a German citizen. They need visa to take them. Somebody wants to travel to Gambia, or otherwise their passport expires and they want to renew it. They say it's a problem. People are always accusing the Gambian embassies of not very reliable, of not even communicating, not answering their calls. Or even if they answer their calls, a lot of people would say that the staff of the embassy are usually very rude, are not very nice, don't talk to them politely. What is your reaction to that?
Well, in my case, like I said earlier, you will always get a call back from me. You will always have a reply to your email. You will always have a reply if you send a letter. And the problem is that with only 3 embassies in the region, so to say, in Paris, London, and Brussels, of course, there's a lot of
Demand.
things going on at the same time, right? So I would wish that we could issue passports in Germany. That would help a lot because of working permits, and also for asylum seekers that would help. So I'm sending out documents saying thank you for personally having contacted us in order to obtain a document or a passport. So with these documents, the Gambians can go to the German authorities and say, look, I tried to get a document, and I'm helping out with lawyers. I just recently heard that Gambian lawyers very often ask for very high prices when they're supposed to help in order to get passports. That is a shame, because in Germany, when the Gambians have the possibility to work or to start an apprenticeship, they need to bring their passport, and I think everything should be done as quick and easy so that they can accept the job and start apprenticeship and be safe, so to say.
Okay. Ensa Jata in Stuttgart is watching right now, and he's asking a question. He says, where in Stuttgart? I am a Gambian living in Germany, Stuttgart West. So in case somebody wants to contact you, for the Gambians in Germany who never knew about you, that there's a consul or whatever, how can you be reached?
Well, almost everybody has my mobile phone number. The address is online everywhere. I get phone calls and letters and emails every day. So imagine some days up to 50 people inquiring. So it's very time consuming. I'm based in Atzenbergstraße in Stuttgart. That is very central. It's actually Stuttgart North, and I receive people in the consulate. You have to make an appointment, of course, because I'm not always sort of in the consulate, since it's just a voluntary post and I still have a normal job. But I've also met people in other cities. In Ulm, we did like meetings last month and this month with Gambians. So I'm always attending several meetings, giving answers, and you can get me via post, email, mobile phone, and there's also a landline of the consulate. So trust me, I would say most of the Gambians have found us already.
Okay. But for those who don't know, because this guy is asking, he doesn't seem to know. Do you mind sharing it or no? Or,
No, yeah,
or
please,
at least the website or somewhere that they can go and get your
yeah,
information.
you'll find, you can just Google Gambia Consulate Germany, and you'll find everything: email address, phone number, address, and I mean, within the Gambian community, my mobile phone number is shared. So I also get a lot of WhatsApp inquiries, which is always a bit difficult. If you imagine, if you sort of work on several channels, talking on the phone, writing emails, and then also at the same time getting WhatsApp inquiries. So the best is to call me, and like if I am sort of in another call, I will always call everybody back, always. So I just want to make sure that nobody is left behind.
Okay. So what are some of those services? I know you did mention people who want passports. What other services do you really provide? Can you just share with us the services that you provide as an honorary consul of the Gambia in Germany?
Well, let's put it this way: most of the inquiries about passports. So I issue a document, an official document, which is addressed to each person, sort of saying, "Hey, thank you for contacting the honorary consulate," and it says exactly how we can obtain a passport. So this document is proof for the Gambians who have to show to the German authorities that they were trying to get a passport. Then we have the emergency passports for the return to the Gambia. I have always legalized documents, especially in the case of marriages. Very often I talk to Gambians who are married in Germany, so we legalize the documents, and then we attend all sorts of meetings, like information evenings or whatever you want to call it. And then Germans, for example, they don't need a visa if they want to go to the Gambia. They can go to the Gambia for 4 weeks, but then very often, let's say, a German might be married with a lady from Poland, or a German lady might be married with somebody from Brazil. In that case, we would issue visa as well. So you have to imagine we do pretty much the same like an embassy or a consulate. We get a lot of inquiries from people who want to take, for example, sewing machines to the Gambia to set up a business, or we get inquiries from people who want to take photovoltaic, solar, sun energy modules to the Gambia. They ask about customs, and we get inquiries from people who want to know about injections, if they need to get sort of injections, or if they want to take their dog to the Gambia. Everything you can imagine that you are sort of confronted with working in an embassy or a consulate.
Well, thank you very much. I think that is clear for those of you that are just joining us on the Nyohobai show. Our guest today is Mr. George Bush, who is not George Bush from the United States. Yes.
Bouché.
Yeah, Bouché. Okay, George Bouché. From Germany, of course, Stuttgart. He is the Gambian consul in Stuttgart in Germany, actually, and he's just shared some of the responsibilities. Pour muy leer, he is not on Gambian taxpayers' money. He's not getting paid in dollars, from what he said, and it's a voluntary basis, so he might not be available 100% or 24/7. But then, at the soonest possible time, he actually gets back to people to provide the services. For those of you that are watching us on Facebook, if you want to see Mr. Bouché, you can actually click on the link that we have just shared there. It will take you directly to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if this is your first time watching us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gambian Talents. If you are following us on Facebook, Gambian Talents Promotion. If you are listening to us on WhatsApp, thank you very much for following the show. We appreciate it. Mr. Bouché is our guest today, and we will continue with the questioning. Somebody wants to know, they are actually asking a few questions on Facebook. I mean, some of the people that are following, and we will ask, say, what is he doing to help Gambians settle in Germany? What is your reaction or response to that question? Africano Sankareh said, what is he doing to help Gambians in Germany?
Well, the most important thing is when you're in Germany, that you should try to get a job and an apprenticeship. And then it's very important to obtain a passport. Otherwise, because the German authorities will ask for the passport. So in general, I mean, most of the time, the most important thing is that the Gambians have to prove to the German authorities that they're trying to get a passport and documents. So that is something that takes most of the time, issuing these documents saying that the person has contacted the honorary consulate. In general, with the 35,000 Gambians, what I find very interesting, because there is a lot of sort of wrong information and fear what is going on. What I find very important is that we hold on a regular basis these meetings, that we can clear questions. And I mean, I get phone calls on Saturdays, on Sundays, in evenings. So basically, the good thing is we opened up the honorary consulate in Stuttgart in September 2016. And what I hear a lot from Gambians is that they're happy that they have a number that they can call. Because they don't have to call to Brussels, then they can call a German number, and everybody who sort of contacts me with an issue, I'm trying to help in each case.
Okay, that is fair enough. You talk about obtaining a passport. We will come to the issue of the deportation. I will talk to you about that. A lot of the Gambians are scared and fear that if they provide a passport, once their cases are rejected, or those of them that have doubling issues, they will be sent back to the Gambia. But I want to take you back a little bit. You talk about doing projects in Brufut. Can you tell us about these projects? What do you do in Brufut?
Well, in Brufut, we have now altogether 3 nursery schools, and we set up a charity in Gambia called Gambian School Support, GSS. And we employed just recently sort of a new managing director, Mr. Kemoba, and we have headmasters and teachers, and we provide a training for the teachers. And on board are only Gambians, and altogether in the 3 nursery schools, one is called Abi Foundation, because the founder was Antonius van Iperen from Holland. The second one that we sort of took over is called Brufut Sansheba. And the third school we just started running is First Step School, because the previous owner, Mr. Konings from Holland, he passed away. So altogether now we have 600 kids, almost 30 employees. We provide milk every day, school uniforms, further training for the teachers. And we thought it's very important for the kids before they start primary school that they have a place where they can play, learn, and grow, and sort of socialize.
Oh, okay. So you established that with a couple of partners from Holland, you said?
Holland, England, Mr. Josh Dale, he is very active, and he's from London. And we have also several partners in Germany. And the thing is, we started a charity. And if somebody donates, for example, 50 euros or 100 euro, the 50 euros or the 100 euros fly or flow directly into the project. So to say, if we go to the Gambia, we would never use a single cent from the donated money. So if somebody in Germany, Holland, or England donates 50 euros or 100 euros, the money goes directly into the schools for the teachers, for the children, and for the rent of the building and the land. So not a single penny is taken for anything. So when I go to the Gambia, I pay everything from my own pocket, not any Gambian tax money or any money from the charity. It's all out of my own pocket.
What will be your reaction to folks? Lately, we have seen a lot of people who start up charities. I mean, non-Gambians for that matter, whether it is Gambians and non-Gambians, whether it is in Europe, in America, in the UK, start up charities. And people say this is the quickest way to make money. You collect 50 euros from people, 100 euros, 200, like in the thousands or whatever, or millions. I mean, you go to Gambia, spend the chicken change there, and the rest you pocket it, or it serves as a way of some people just being able to have a nice vacation to the Gambia.
No, not at all. In our case, it's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. I was very upset with exactly these kind of charities. Imagine if you spend or donate 100 euros for other projects, up to 40 or 50% are used for administrative costs. So I was very upset with that concept, and that's why we started our own thing where we said that not a single cent is taken away, that all the money flies into the project. And imagine, I mean, we could all do other things than collecting money and taking that money and setting up schools. For us, it's very important that not a single cent is taken away, and definitely it's not a holiday when we fly to the Gambia and look after the schools, because you can imagine with 3 schools, there's always things going on. We build new hand washing stations, when we build new toilets, when we build a new roof, when we provide further training for the teachers. And in our case, not a single member is taking any cent. It's exact opposite. We put our own money on top still, and we also donate from our own money. So I don't share this idea of taking anybody else's money.
That is loud and clear, but what would be your reaction to folks who would say, well, that's just new, and anything you start up new, you will invest in it, but eventually as it grows and the donation starts to come, not from individuals, but from corporations and big institutions in Germany, Europe, especially you people have a network of people from UK, from, other parts of Europe, that if it starts to come in the millions, and at that point, you will have a check for yourselves. I want to have you on record. Are you guaranteeing Gambians that it will never get to that level? Any money that you guys get is for the project is going to continue?
Imagine how difficult it is. Like, I'm just a small guy. Imagine how difficult it is to sort of fundraise money. And in our case, we're talking about very small amounts, but the amounts are sufficient to rent 3 buildings and land and to employ 30 employees. We used to have a football coach, we have a nurse, and it would be absolutely wrong from my point of view to put money in your own pocket, and you have to always be transparent. And you can sort of look into our books, and we can show you our own expenditures for flights or hotels where we stay. So
that's what I'm saying. You are just starting out. It might grow, and then you start to have multi-million pounds or euro projects the like coming from either the German government or the bigger non-profits that are in similar veins, or the EU. Or the EU or other bigger institutions, that support public-private partnership or have an interest in Africa. You never know. There are several institutions who support funding in Africa, and people set up non-profits and charities.
Germany has its own institutions where they sort of donate money, and Germany is also already active in the Gambia, but this is not our concern. We don't want to earn any money. In that sense, we want to help, right? We still have all our own jobs, and members of our team already retired, so they see this now as their thing to sort of work and do something useful. I'm just getting a call from a Gambian, so this is a interesting thing, like being live with you online. I'll call the person back, whoever is calling at the moment. Please be patient.
Okay, thank you very much. We will move on. Aliu Dabo is watching on Facebook, and he asks a question. If you have Italian 5 years document, asilo, is there any possibility to work in Germany? If yes, how can he get residence?
Well, the thing is, sort of being in Italy, it pretty much depends on the laws and rules of the Italians. And the Italians are strict, but the good thing would be if the gentleman would have the possibility and contacts to a company in Germany who would employ him. And then please contact me and send me your details. The best would be via email, and I'll see how I can help you.
Well, okay. So, but then I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said that they now have a new law in Germany where if you have Italian document, you should be able to work in Germany. Is that right?
Well, it's a pretty tricky question, because let's imagine if you would be Italian, right? If you would be Italian and you would be living in Italy, you could, within the European Union, easily just go to any other country within the European Union and sort of work there. Being a member of the European Union. But then every country has different laws on foreigners. So the thing is, let's say if you're Gambian and if you've lived for a long time in Italy and you've received the Italian citizenship, then it's very easy, because then you're treated like an Italian and you can easily move over to Germany. But then the sad case is that in the case of Germany, some refugees, no matter where they're from, have certain restrictions that they can't leave a certain area, and it's a dreadful situation in general.
Oh, okay. You are following and watching the Nyohobai show here on the Gambian Talents TV, brought to you by Pa Usman Juf. My guest today is Mr. George Bouché, of course, the Gambian Honorary Consul in Germany. We are talking to Mr. Bouché about, series of things relating to his job, the deportation that is currently ongoing, etc. If you want to see Mr. Bouché, you can actually follow us. Those of you that are watching on Facebook, if you click on the link that we have pinned down there, it will take you to our YouTube channel where you will be able to see Mr. Bouché and everything else. All the different things that are going on. There are different questions coming, of course, left and right. The Gambians in Germany are following very keenly the program right now, and they are sending, actually, a lot of them in Europe are following and they are sending messages. One of the questions we'll ask you, how often do you travel to Gambia?
Well, it depends. I was just in Gambia last week, and I will be back the latest in September. The thing is, I'm very busy here in Germany with the Honorary Consul and with the daily inquiries, and also with my normal job. And it's always, of course, time-consuming and money-consuming traveling to the Gambia. So I try to go about twice a year. In order to especially look after my projects in the Gambia. But then again, we're a team of about 30 people. So one of our colleagues who is retired, he comes to the Gambia every 2 or 3 months. And we have a complete team for our schools in nursery schools in Gambia and Gambian employees. So everything is working well. And we have very good people with us on board.
You don't have a Gambian wife yet?
No. I have a little daughter. She's 6.
Okay.
And actually, separated from her mother. So I'm busy with my daughter and the consulate, my job.
You want to tell me Gambian women know how to cook benachin now and domada? They will cook you some good benachin and domada.
Yeah, I love the Gambian food, especially domada and benachin. The Gambian kitchen is excellent.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, let's go back to your job. Lately, we have seen a lot of Gambians being deported back to the Gambia. The German president was in Gambia sometime last year and have made it clear. He said there were over 4,000 illegal Gambians illegally living in Germany, and they were going to be deported. From your point of view, or from what you know, actually, how many Gambians are living in Germany, to the best of your knowledge? Before he answers the question, I please plead with the people that are calling. I am definitely not accepting calls. If you can kindly send your comments, your questions section, we will accept it. If you are calling any of the lines, we are not accepting calls this minute, but then we will gladly read your questions if you ask any through the comment section on both Facebook and YouTube. Mr. Bouché, you can go ahead with your response.
So there's different figures out there. The German president speaks about approximately 35,000 Gambians in Germany.
Okay.
And then there's different organizations helping refugees in general. Some talk only about 10,000, 15,000. So the truth is somewhere between 15 and 35,000, but I think it's up to the higher end, approximately 35,000 Gambians.
35,000. Well,
yes.
You would imagine that the German government will actually have a database of those entering somewhere that the non-profits or organizations don't have access to, and maybe so we can rely on the figures from the German authorities that
yes.
There are 35,000 Gambians in Germany. So he said about 4,000 illegal. That's a large number. Is that right? You know about that as well?
Well, the problem is in general that during Germany's times, it was a lot easier to sort of come to Germany and say you're seeking for asylum. So the big problem now is that Germany says, hey, there is a new government in the Gambia, and the Gambia is considered sort of a safe country now. So the German point of view and perspective is, hey, we don't need to give asylum to people from Gambia. And then the sad thing is that Germany, we would urgently need people like the young Gambians. I speak every day to companies and say, what can we do to keep our Gambian employees? And you mentioned it earlier, people are afraid of having a passport, but then the German authorities, when you want to start a job or apprenticeship, they ask for the German passport. And I always encourage the Gambians to get the passport, and I understand the concern that they say, no, I'm afraid. But the problem is, with the deportations, like then they will eventually say in Germany, hey, okay, you don't have a passport, you can prove that you're Gambian, we'll invite you to a so-called hearing, and then they will identify the Gambians as Gambians, and they would rather send them back if they don't have a passport. So my point is, let's imagine you would be in Germany and you would have the possibility to work, and the company and the German authorities would say, if you want to work with us, you'd have to present your passport. I have met very many positive cases that people obtained a passport within 2 weeks. The so-called MRT passport was then sent from the Gambia to Germany, and then they're sort of safe for 3 years. So my main concern is that the German laws and the German country and the German rules say, okay, we think Gambia is safe now. We don't have to worry about anything. And sadly, they say, okay, you'd have to leave again. And that's very sad. Imagine, the Gambian brothers and sisters who had this horrible trip coming to Germany, and then you don't really find a perspective here. So the positive news is the moment you have the possibility to work and the moment you have an apprenticeship, I always encourage people to bring the passport, and then they're okay for 3-4 years for apprenticeship, and then they settle in. And I have spoken to many Gambians who've learned perfect German. I'm absolutely impressed. I was invited by a Gambian gentleman a few months ago. He cooked a brilliant domada. He has a great job. He's married to a German lady, and his German was breathtaking. It was amazing. So, it's not easy to settle in a different country and start everything from scratch. But I've seen so many positive cases, and very positive cases in the sense of being here on a legal basis.
Yes, that is fair. Let me take you back. I said the deportation started after the German president went to Gambia, and they had discussions with the Gambia government. A lot of people believe that the Gambia government actually have signed a deal with the German government to actually deport these Gambians. Do you know anything about that?
Well, the thing is, I'm not informed neither by the German government nor by the Gambian government. But, of course, if there are so-called hearings in Germany organized by Germany and the Gambia, there must be some sort of a deal, and there is a deal for sure.
There is a deal for sure.
Yeah, otherwise, how would you organize hearings, and how would you identify Gambians sort of being run by the German government together with the Gambian government, right? So there's no doubt there's a deal. But you have to understand, I am just at the end of the line. I am, if I make inquiries to the state of Germany, an honorary consul is not taken seriously like an ambassador, for example. And the same thing is, I am actually very far away from capital. I'm very far away from Banjul, and I sort of report to the embassy in Brussels. And then the embassy in Brussels is also, since there are 4 honorary consulates in Germany, they're also kind of geographically far away from Germany. So I am the last one in the line, and I'm the last one that people sort of talk to. But as mentioned before, in order to sort of send people back and have hearings and identifying them, there is, of course, some sort of agreement, because otherwise there wouldn't be a cooperation between the two countries and doing all the process of sending people back.
Okay. Do you have?
But I have to correct you. There were always sort of deportations, also before the German president came to Germany, because. If you think back, the elections took place on the 1st of December 2016. And then it still took quite a few weeks until Germany was sort of gone. And the whole process changed in Germany once Germany was gone, right? Because then Germany said, hey, before somebody came from the Gambia, they were sort of checking and working on the case and see if they need asylum. And now it's very easy for the German government to say, hey, the dictator is gone, and there's a new president, it's all going to be fine. And we all know that it will take a long time to sort of for the Gambia to transform. And it's not easy to change a country from today until tomorrow. And what I also find very difficult is when you send Gambians back to the Gambia, what kind of possibilities do you give to them when they come back, right? It's not easy. So there were also deportations, so to say, or people being sent back from Germany to Gambia before the German president visited the Gambia. And also,
yes, thank you for correcting that. Actually, I am talking about when I talk here, I am talking about mass deportation. Gambians have been deported back to the Gambia, dating way back that I cannot even remember. I have uncles that were deported in the 80s, in the 90s. I grew up seeing that. So,
also,
even the president himself. In a recent interview, he said he was deported from Germany before. So deportation have been going on, and it will certainly continue to go on. And Gambians do even deport. I interviewed the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Lawyer Dabo, Usainu Dabo, the Secretary General of the UDP, and he has said it. The Gambia deports a lot of people. I mean, even every country deports people. But the question is mass deportation is what has been going on. Is what started after the German president left Gambia. In December, for example, we have a flight of 20 people that came. I mean, in January, we have 15. In February, we have 15. That is when the noise started, and then a lot of coverage was given to this deportation. And eventually, there was a moratorium that was, put up by the Gambia government to kind of freeze this. But until yesterday, when I spoke to Yaya, there are evidences that just this month, 9 people have been deported back to the Gambia from Germany. So instead of bringing them in mass, bringing 10, 20, 30 people on one flight, now what they resorted to is actually bringing them in piecemeal, having 1 here, 2 there, 3 there. That way, they diffuse the tension, and people will not feel that way. Do you, personally, as the Gambian consul in Germany or the Gambian embassy, have any role to play or a hand in this deportation to start with?
No, we have never participated in any of the hearings, but I have met, for example, the delegation from Gambia who is in Germany at the moment, and I've never participated in any hearing. And imagine it must be a dreadful situation if you sort of sit there and your brothers and sisters, you have to identify your brothers and sisters that they're sent back.
Okay. So you don't play any role personally. You don't play any role. So does the Gambian embassy in Brussels play any role? Do you know?
No, the only thing that is sort of done in our case is the issuing of emergency passports, but neither the embassy nor any honorary consulate has ever participated in any hearing or anything.
So the people, you can confirm to us that there are Gambian immigration officers in Kalswa?
Yes.
And those those immigration officers are there to identify Gambian citizens, for deportation?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. I will play the video of the interview that we had with the immigration officer, the public relation officer of the Gambia immigration, and he denied that. I will play that video, and then we will come back to you. You are listening to the Nyohobai show from the Gambian Talents TV. Pa Usman Juf is your host, and Mr. George Bouché is my guest today. We are talking to Mr. Bouché about the deportation and several other things that are happening. We will play this interview with the public relation officer of the Gambia immigration, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere while we play this interview. You might not hear it, but I will tell you what he says as soon as I am done. So stay tuned.
Our citizens coming from Germany on deportation.
Okay, will this be the only group of deportees from Germany, or are we expecting more?
I am not in a position to tell you that this will be the last group or this will not be the last group. That is not for us to decide. Remember, this is a decision that is taken by a government in Germany. So this is not the decision of the Gambia government or the immigration authorities to bring these people back. So we may not be the right authorities to tell you as to whether this thing will continue or it will stop.
Okay. First thing, what we just asked him is if the Gambia government was involved, and he said no, the Gambia government was not involved, and this is not the decision of the Gambia government to deport Gambians from Germany. That is the responsibility of the German authorities. And do you agree with him?
I agree with him because, it's important for Gambia to have Gambians outside of Gambia because you know that the gross domestic product forms up to 20 to 30% of the money that is flown from outside. So the good thing, while the economy still has to sort of grow in Gambia, is having Gambians outside of Gambia being able to send money home, right? So we all agree. So the problem is here that the Germans consider Gambia as being safe now, and the Germans say, okay, there is no need to sort of give asylum to Gambians at the moment. But if they have a job and if they bring their documents, they let them be here. So the problem, I mean, I would be sure that Gambia would prefer to have the Gambians working all over the world, being sending money, contributing toward the gross domestic product. So there are also Gambians who heavily say and promote my friend Abdouli Jallo. He returned from Cologne to Gambia, and he wants to also set up a political party, and he wants to sort of start cashew production. So he took the leaving of Jami as a chance that, okay, I want to go back and I want to rebuild the country. And I would say that about 50% of the Gambians in Germany, they would prefer to be home in the Gambia if they would have possibilities there. Yes. So nobody leaves a country on a voluntary basis. I mean, you live abroad and I've lived abroad, and we do that because we had the possibility, but in the bottom of our heart we would like to be with our friends and family members in our country, right? So the whole problem here is that the German government of course says, okay, we're having a difficulty providing a space for people from all over the world, and that the German government sort of decided, okay, Gambia is safe, and that's the problem. And I mean, you just have to talk to one or the other Gambian who was returning to the Gambia about the hearings, and they can tell you, you know, what was going on.
Yes, we have interviewed several of them, definitely, and that is what they said. You know, there's this confusion. People say, yes, Gambia government have the hand in it. Let them stop the deportation. It is important to clear that it's not the Gambia government who actually deports, it's German government. I have interviewed Lawyer Dabo when he came here. Those of you that are follow us very keenly, you've heard the interview. He has said it. I mean, Gambia government can deport anybody they want to deport, and any country can deport anybody they want to deport. This is difficult for this message to sink in our youth in Germany, for them to understand that the Gambia government actually does not deport. But do they have a hand in this process? That is where the question is. I think that is what we need to clear. Do you believe they have a hand in it? Especially the mass deportation. The government of any country does not need the permission of the host country or where the citizens come from to deport them. They don't need their permission. But then go ahead.
I am absolutely sure that most people sort of in the Gambia would prefer to have Gambians outside the Gambia being able to work and send money, right? Yes. And then we have different members of the government in Gambia. Many would say, please come back and help us rebuild the new Gambia. But imagine, it's very easy. Imagine I would come to your house and I would be in your house and you would say, okay, I want to kick you out. So I have no chance to stay because you're the boss. So the problem here is, what many people don't see is that Germany sadly says, Germany sadly says the country is safe, you could go back. And what is the role of Gambia? I mean, what should they do? I mean, the government of Gambia can say, okay, we'll refuse to take the people back, right? I mean, there is something, sort of on a diplomatic level.
That is where I am leading to, actually. That is the problem right there, Mr. George. Gambia government is denying having any responsibility in this whole process for the most part. And that is where the problem is. If they have a role to play in it, for example, sending those Gambian authorities or immigration officers in Kalswa to identify the people, as you have confirmed to us, they are denying that. I will play the audio here, the video here again next, the part in which the immigration officer was asked if they have any role to play in it, and apparently he denied the whole thing. Let me play that part and then we'll be right back. You are following the Nyohobai show from the Gambian Talents TV.
Okay, will there be mass deportations like this one from any other country besides Germany?
Equally, this goes back to just the last question that I have answered. We are not the authorities to tell you whether mass deportations will follow suit or not. This is not our take. This is not the decision that we make.
Okay, viewers, you've heard from him. This is not the decision they take. They cannot answer these questions because they feel like they are not in a position to answer it. So we move to the. Okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you, that is not what I meant. I'm not telling you that, we cannot answer. I think I have, accurately answered your question. If you ask me whether deportations will continue, whether more Gambians will be coming, this is not a decision we are not the authorities who decide whether people should be deported or not. We are always at the receiving end. So this is what I meant. I think this answers your question.
Okay, you are always receiving them, but you are not giving them authorities to.
We are not the ones who decide whether people should come on deportation or not.
Okay.
That is the decision made by authorities in wherever our citizens find themselves.
Okay, we've been informed that the Gambia immigration has sent officials to Germany to facilitate the removal of Gambian citizens in Germany by identifying them and issuing them a traveling document. Is that true?
I will say this over and over and over again. We have not deployed any of our personnel to anywhere around the world to be identifying Gambians for deportation. What we can authoritatively tell our viewers is that we have our officers in some embassies in Europe where these officers will help the authorities to confirm. I want people to understand the thin line between confirmation and identification. We have seen a time without number that citizens of other countries will claim to be Gambians, especially some 2 or 3 years ago, when this country was not democratically ruled, and most people fled this country to look for better life elsewhere. A lot of citizens of other countries have used this opportunity, have grabbed this as an opportunity to claim our citizenship. As a result, complaints have been coming to us so much that we have seen the necessity to have our liaison officers to help verify such claims made in respect of Gambian citizenship.
Okay. He said that has said it and will say it and will continue to say it, that they have not sent anybody to Germany or anywhere in the world to identify any Gambians. According to him, there are some people who use the name of the Gambia to acquire citizenship, Gambian citizenship, because a lot of Gambians have traveled abroad and have decided to seek asylum and other stuff. And as a result, they get a lot of claims from different countries of non-Gambian citizens who are claiming to be citizens of the Gambia, and these people are only there to identify those people and not, to identify Gambians to deport them. And in fact, these people are attachees, liaison officers in the Gambian embassies. Is this the case?
I've also spoken to Gambians who are in Germany, who are sort of part of the hearing, and they said exactly this. They want to make sure, that's what they told me too, they said they want to make sure that nobody's pretending to be a Gambian. If somebody might do illegal things and criminal things and pretends to be Gambian, they want to make sure that nobody's running around pretending to be Gambian, doing illegal things, and sort of having a bad reputation put on the country Gambia. So the people I spoke to that were sent from the Gambia to Germany, they said exactly this, that their role is to find out if people who pretend to be Gambians and who are not, that is their role. But
if you say people you spoke to, you are talking about the Gambian immigration officers in Germany who are there to identify the citizens. That's what they told you is their role.
Exactly. And then, you did it already. You just have to speak to people, and there are many people who had to go to these hearings, and they can tell you what they experienced, right? We don't have to make it's pretty clear.
So they are not only identifying those so-called criminals or people that are using the image of the Gambia, they are identifying Gambian citizens for deportation. And are they based in the embassies? Do you know if they are based in the embassies?
Since there's no embassy in Germany, so they have no connection to the.
So put quite simply, then he is not telling us the truth, sir. Because he said it. I just played the audio. I can repeat it again. He said that they are attachees at the Gambian embassy. They are liaison officers at the Gambian embassies. That's what he said.
Yeah, but the problem is that there is no embassy in Germany. So there is always also the trouble with communication, right? So he might either be not well informed, or he might say something that is not true. But I can assure you, there is no embassy in Germany or the Gambia, and there are people here to identify Gambians who come from the Gambia. And I mean, it's pretty obvious because you can talk to people who went to these hearings in the city of Karlsruhe, and they can tell you what they've experienced there, right?
Okay.
And I mean, the problem is, that's why I repeated, Germany says, if you don't have a job here, and if you don't have the possibility to do an apprenticeship or a job training, your country is safe. We don't need to look after you. You can sort of look after yourself. And Germany sort of kindly asked the people to return, and that's the main issue and the main problem. Okay. So I highly recommend to socialize in Germany, to try to get the possibility of finding a job, starting an apprenticeship. And the German system is very unique with the apprenticeship, that you get like a job training for 3 years to become a baker or a painter or a mechanic. And if you have the possibility to start working with a company, and let me assure you, many companies are missing good people who want to work and start an apprenticeship. And when you then get the possibility to do an apprenticeship or to start a job, please do bring your passport, because this is what the German authorities are asking. And if you have your passport that a third person can get for you in the Gambia, like a family member or a friend, you present the passport to your company and the German authorities, and then you're safe. And many Gambians don't want to get the passport because they're afraid that it might be taken home. But if you don't have the passport, you can start an apprenticeship, and then eventually you will be invited to the hearing. And when in the hearing they say, hey, you're Gambian, you don't have a job here, you don't have the right to be here, that's why they send you back. So it's always better to obtain a passport and start job or apprenticeship and be on the safe side.
You are following the Nyohobai show on the Gambian Talents TV, sponsored by Kaira Su Investment and Properties in the Gambia. For all your needs in properties and land in the Gambia, I will be bringing you some of those commercials shortly. But then I'll ask you some of the questions. Jamme Sky Gripper on Facebook says, why are you not giving permit to those that have already completed their Asbuldung instead of asking for their home passport?
Well, I can't give permit for anybody. Okay. I am not working for the German government, and I always advise that the best thing is to sort of attack on top on the highest level. And if that gentleman already has an Ausbildung, like an apprenticeship, the German word for the job training or apprenticeship, I'm sure everything will be fine the moment he presents the passport. But although I'm German, I sadly don't represent the German government, and I would do things differently.
Okay, thank you.
Brothers and sisters, and make the process easier.
Okay. Sanasaho says, Pa Usman, can you ask him when these new laws will start? I mean, I think he asked that question a while ago, the laws that we talk about, the people from Italy. Actually, a lady from YouTube equally asked the same thing. Fatou Toure on YouTube says, Pa Usman, please ask him if it is true that from the 1st of January 2020, people with Italian documents will be allowed to stay and work without any problems. She wants to know.
Well, again, the thing is, if the Italians, if you're Italian, born by nature, sort of, then you can start working immediately in Germany. And like if you're sort of a legal citizen with German nationality, then you can also live and work in any other country. So the problem is when people say there's something like international law or European law, it's not really true, because there's no such international law, because every country has its own laws, and European law is something new that, within the European Union, people decide to sort of have common laws that work sort of all European countries. But then again, some countries could say, okay, we don't want to obey the European law. So in the case with Italy, it's a very complicated case, and please do contact me, and I will look into each case individually to see how I can help.
And I think it is important you mentioned that it's a very complicated situation, because the reality is a lot of these young people who went to Italy through the back way, through the desert to Libya, and then finally found themselves in Italy and then to Germany. A lot of them already applied for asylums in Italy and then later came to Germany. From the research we did, several interviews we had, that they call this the doubling problem that they have. And the German government always deals with this doubling issue to take care of it. So a lot of them have that problem of doubling before they come to Germany, and it makes their cases very complicated, and a lot of them don't understand it actually, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then Germany, it always depends who is in power, right? We have different political parties. And at the moment, we have two political parties forming the government. And then each political party has a different position. And then we have the opposition who have different positions. So the sort of asylum laws are always being worked on, and it's a big issue. So it's an ongoing process and not something that is 100% printed black in white. And it's something that is ongoing. And if you'd ask me, I would, especially if a country like Germany has a lack of skilled people for jobs, I would do things completely differently and see how I can smoothen the process to start people having a job here and providing and sort of towards the economy, right?
Sekou Suare on YouTube was kind of piggybacking on what you said. He said that's a lie. When the immigration officer was talking, he said that's a lie. I was one of the people at the hearing and I faced two officials. He said he faced two officials in Kalswa. He said from Gambia, the people they identify are most likely going to be deported. So he said he was there to be identified by the two Gambian officials in Kalswa. That is his statement. Mandela Njai says they are working with you. He said she said they are working with you. Babukar Jase say yes, they don't need the permission of the host country to deport their people, but they have to do it in a right channel. I mean, according to the law, you cannot deport a person without a right document. So that is where the Gambia government comes in by actually assisting to provide documentation for German to deport, because like we all said and we all know that Germany or any other country cannot deport, doesn't need the permission of any country to deport their people. But then they need to have documentation to deport them. And a lot of these boys that came through the back way, that came through Libya or Italy, did not provide passport. So how can they put them on a flight? That is where, is that not the role that the Gambia government plays in issuing travel document? I mean, and of course, they have to also accept any flight that is to land in the Gambia government, through the aviation and through the immigration and others will be aware. They would generally have the list of everybody that are going to be in that flight. Don't you think so, sir?
Yes, I mean, you just answered your own question and you answered it right, 100 points.
Yeah, so that's where the role of the Gambia government comes. And they continue to deny this fact, that they don't have any role to play in it, or they are not aware. The last batch that came, for example, in March, when we interviewed them at the airport, they said that when the plane landed, the immigration officers acted some drama there by pretending that they didn't know the flight was coming. They were not going to accept the flight. And the boys were very happy and excited, only for them to eventually now, accept the flight and then took the document from the German people. And a lot of them said they showed them documentation that was issued by the Gambia government. Emergency travel documents and stuff that were issued by the Gambia government. They did not issue passport, but they issued emergency travel document and continue to deny these things.
Yeah, I mean, we never really know how communication works, right? We never know what the two governments exactly talked about, and we never know how much information was passed down, but you pretty much answered your question yourself, and there you go, right? And I mean, what would Gambia do? What would they say to Germany? Oh, we deny to take everybody back, we never know everybody's personal position. We don't know what the personal position is of the different members within the process, right? And I can just tell you it's a sad thing. And like I said earlier, nobody leaves the country on a voluntary basis. And I would assure that more than 50% of the people in Germany from Gambia would prefer to be back in the Gambia with a stable job and a clear future. And there you see the unevenness and unbalanced world we're living in, right?
Yaya Toure on YouTube says, Pa, please ask him after the Asboldong, when you bring your password, are you going to get the document to work or stay in Germany?
Yes. The thing is, imagine the company and the German authorities says you want to start an apprenticeship, which the German word is Ausbildung, and then they ask you to bring the passport, and then you contact a friend or a family member who organize an MRT passport at immigration in Banjul. And then you give that passport and show that to your company and to the German authorities, and then you get the working permit to do your Ausbildung for 3 years. And then with 3 years, you win a lot of time, and then later when you prove that you did a good job, and maybe you find somebody and you get married, you settle in. I had many very positive cases. Please do tell them, or let me do it here, the Gambians in Germany. There's different institutions like the refugee organizations, and they can tell you exactly and give you many positive cases. And please feel free to contact me anytime, and I'm helping you there. And I highly advise to get a passport so that you can start an apprenticeship, a job training, or a job in general. And then you get something that is in German called Duldung, which means you're sort of allowed to be in the country. And this document is then also renewed, I think, every year. And while you are sort of doing Ausbildung, which is apprenticeship or job training, or when you have a job, I mean, you are a very welcome sort of citizen of Germany because you're contributing towards the economy, right?
You are very right, and I am glad you mentioned that point. And I will take this opportunity at this point to remind our people to go through the right channel and do proper research. The problem that we have, sir, is a lot of our people rely on hearsay. I sit down, we sit on our votes, we sit in our ghettos, we sit in our camps, or wherever it is, and just talk. One person's experience, the issue with immigration, like Mr. George said, is a very complex and complicated situation, and everybody's situation should be looked at differently. There is no single situation or formula that runs across the board. The reality is, you came in through Libya. The other person came through, Morocco. The other person came through, through Spain. This one came through Italy. And some of them also maybe travel to different countries. You come and they say, oh, Swiss is better now. Let's go to Swiss. And you jump to Swiss and went there. You apply for asylum in Italy, apply for asylum in Swiss, and you give different information in each of these places. Your stories don't tally. You applied in Swiss, that your uncle was working for Yaya Jammeh. You apply in Swiss, in Italy, that your father was the minister of so and so, or belonged to so and so party. These are the type of things that we are faced with. The reality is, each and every one of you know your own personal situation. You know what you went through. You know the countries you've been to, whether you've been to Sweden, you've been to Italy, you've been to Germany, you've been to France, Norway, or Hungary, or any of these European countries. Each of you know very well your situation, countries you've been to, and the things that you did in order for you to be able to get to Germany finally. And all of the things you put out there is going to come up if they pull it, because the systems are linked somewhat, somewhere, somehow. And if they see any inconsistencies, that can affect you. And this I am saying based on talking to several of them, sir, through interviews, and they contact me behind the scenes as well. We will continue by asking few more questions from the people that are watching. Babukar Jase says, what about if you find yourself a job without Asbuldung? Are you safe to stay in Germany?
Well, if a company says, hey, I want to employ you, I want you to work for us, then also they will eventually ask you for a passport, and also German authorities. And the same thing should apply. If you then get a passport and then you have like a contract, then you have very good chances to stay, because the company is wanting you. You brought all the documents they were asking for, and then everything is on the right path, so to say.
Okay. How about if you have kids? Where BI says if you have kids in Germany, how about that? Does that help in any way?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that is obvious in the sense of, let's say you come to Germany, you have a child, and you're the father of the child or the mother of the child, and the child was born in Germany. And then in that case, there's the possibility also to stay, of course, because you need to be with your child and your child needs to be with you. And it's also not a super easy process in that sense, but then the chances are very good, of course, of staying. So I always highly recommend get married and form a family, right?
You want them to start getting all these girls pregnant right now?
No, but what I'm saying is, I mean, how can you have an interaction and sort of find socialize, find friends by starting a family, right? I mean, that's always an easy thing.
Yes.
You're immediately introduced into a culture and a country, right?
Babukar Bojang says, I study at the University of Salzburg in Australia. If you reach a German level of A2, uni acceptance and accommodation prior to visa acceptance, your visa is guaranteed. Is that the case in Germany?
Well, let's say if you are, for example, in the Gambia and you have the possibility to work in Germany, you would have to apply for a visa and a working permit through the embassy in Dakar in Senegal. Because you know that the German embassy in Dakar in Senegal is also in charge of Gambia. So I once heard somebody telling me, hey, the Gambians, if they would just go to Dakar and apply for a visa, it wouldn't be a problem. They could easily work in Germany. But the whole statement is so wrong, because let's imagine I sit in Brufut or I sit in Senegambia. How should I know any company in Germany that would want to employ me? It's impossible to get to know from Brufut or from Senegambia a company in Germany that needs somebody. I have to actually be in Germany to get in contact with possible companies who are looking for labor, right? And so the saying is a bit wrong, saying, hey, when you're in the Gambia, just try to get a visa from the embassy, the German embassy in Dakar in Senegal, and then you can easily work. But how should I know any company in Germany that is looking for me would want me to work for them, right? I first, of course, have to be in Germany to make contact with these companies, right? And then, I mean, you see the different possibilities in the sense of there's a lot of potential, especially because Germany has a lack of young people. We're talking about elderly care, mechanics, all sorts of different jobs. I mean, there are big possibilities and big potentials to say, hey, why don't we start programs? Especially if you think about it, Germany has a lack of doctors. So if you're a doctor, it's quite easy to start working in Germany. And of course, it's not fair. Why can doctors work here easily and others can't? But what I'm saying is, especially because of demographics, that we're having more and more older people and less younger people. I'm a great fan of the multicultural environment and having influence from different countries. So you see the potential there is, and that different countries could really start working together with each other and see how to make use of that potential.
Some people are skeptical of your faith, asking if you are working with the immigration officers, you are not just luring Gambians to actually contact you so that you will report them or get their information and report them to the yes, you are not working. Are you sure?
First of all, there's something called the Data Protection Act in Germany. You can go to jail if you pass on any data, any personal data. So if I would pass on the name or any details of anybody to anybody else, I could go to prison. And I have met the delegation, and I've never participated in any hearing, and I've never passed on any data. And you can talk to Gambians who have received my letters, my emails, that I'm always trying to help them. And you can talk to Gambians in the meetings we hold, and you will see that people always walk up to me and say, oh, thank you so much. You're here to help, and I always get a positive feedback in that sense. I mean, I get a lot of texts also. I'm being made responsible for German politics, but I'm not a German politician. I'm not part of the German government.
And how does that feel, though? You are there volunteering to help people from another country, and they just continue to attack you and and harass you or call you names and or suspect you. How does that feel?
I mean, I can understand the anger, right? I can understand the anger, but
you don't feel like quitting sometimes. Be like, you know what? Is it worth it? I have better things to do with my time. You don't feel that?
Not yet. I'm keeping the faith up, right?
Amadou says on Facebook says some of you guys cannot listen carefully when someone is talking. Stop the politics out of this. The man never mentioned Dabo's name, and still deportation is going on, and Dabo is not in the government. Why some people are always silent now, unlike before when Mr. Dabo was in the government? Some Gambians like pettiness and love to back the lies. Enemies of Dabo and UDP will never succeed. Deportation is still going on. Who is to blame now? Brilliant man said, my question to Mr. Bouché is, would be if one has a German resident permit without any issue, German passport in Germany, also without Gambian passport, it's possible for the person to attend driving school and after passing exams got the license without further asking to bring your passport from your home country. I know someone who has resident permit in Germany without Gambian passport and he wants to attend driving school, the Zulazong, right? That's what it's called. Is it Zulazong?
Yeah.
Yes, Zulazong. Ask him to bring his passport from the Gambia before attending it, because of otherwise, after passing, he won't be issued the pass till he brought his passport. He's asking if somebody, I think you've heard it. Did you hear it?
Yes. I mean, the problem in Germany is in general that everything is super controlled. The Spaniards, the Spanish people say about the Germans, we have squared heads, right? Not round heads. Germany, everything is super controlled. And I remember when I dealt with the authorities concerning driving, I always had to show my ID card. And one thing is, like a driving school, they of course want to make money, right? So a driving school would immediately accept you, but the driving school also wouldn't accept you, knowing that later, maybe if there's a document missing, you couldn't get your driver's license, right? I mean, there is no such as gangsters working in driving schools. So I never heard about that case, but also please send me an email and I will talk to the vehicle authorities and see what's the case. So please, the easiest is if you send me an email with that particular case, and I will immediately start finding out and helping out.
Okay. This guy says my passport will expire in November, and I live in Switzerland. Is there any possibility to renew it?
The sad thing is that you can't really renew the passports outside of Banjul. But there's also an honorary consul in Switzerland. I'm also happy to pass on his details, but you should also find him online. And I don't know if he is actually prolonging passports. In Germany, it's not possible. And like the official statement is that you only can do it in Gambia, but you never know. Maybe the Swiss honorary consul has an extra possibility. I doubt it, but please contact him first. And then the easiest would be to send the passport to a friend or a family member, and then a friend and family member takes it to immigration in Banjul and gets it prolonged.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Coming back to the issue of deportation, I have a few more questions for you, and we will wrap this up. I know we've been on for more than an hour. 3 flights have gone to Gambia we took multiple people, I mean 15 people at a time, and all of a sudden in March it was stopped because there was a lot of noise. There was a protest in Gambia. This raised a lot of international attention, and the Gambia government issued a moratorium to stop this deportation. There are rumors out there that end of the month, of course between today and the 24th, a flight is to leave German for Gambia. Do you know about anything about that?
I don't know about any flights, but this is also very transparent because the different organizations, I would have to check it up and I could send you the link. Also, there are different internet pages in Germany online from refugee organizations, and they post the flight dates for deportations.
They post the flight dates for deportation. Okay. So that is clear for those of you who want to know, who want to find out. You can visit. Do you know, can you share any of those links with the people? Of course, yeah, I know a lot of the Gambians do follow those things a lot. They do follow those, but can you share the links?
Yeah, I will later put them on and send it to you via WhatsApp so you can post them afterwards.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. There is a flight supposedly that will be going. So what do you what advice do you have for the Gambians there, the bottom line, those who are illegal and are in dilemma when the announcement come out about this deportation, about this mass deportation? In fact, that is when I hear them. They harass me a lot by calling me left and right, night, day, just because anytime Dick and Harry hears any information, they will call me to give me information about what is happening and the like. They get scared. A lot of them
Of
leave
course.
their homes to actually sleep on the streets because they don't want to be arrested in their homes. If they had their apprenticeship or jobs, they quit the jobs. So a lot of them are actually sitting there now. They cannot stay in their homes. They cannot go to work or anything because they are scared of being arrested either from the job and even school. Some of the people that are going to school
Yeah.
actually say, because there are some of their colleagues who were arrested from school. As a result, those who are going to school stop going to school. They vacate their homes because they fear being arrested from home. Those that have jobs fear being at their jobs. What advice do you have for these people?
I can tell you that we had a different situation some decades ago with people from ex-Yugoslavia. Ex-Yugoslavia was having a war, and people sort of came to Germany as refugees. And my mother, she used to be a teacher, and she had kids taken out of the class by the police. And this is dreadful.
Okay.
So there was a big movement against that, and then the kids could sort of finish school. So my advice is, don't let it bring the whole situation that far. So try to do whatever is asked, like bringing the documents, the passport, when you start the apprenticeship, because when you hear that people are taken out of the apprenticeship, out of the job, this is probably mainly because they haven't, got a passport.
Yeah, but that's what I'm telling you though, sir. You see, a lot of these people, sorry for cutting you short, a lot of these people, their conditions are very complicated simply because at the end of the day, they have a lot of, they have the doubling problem, like I said, from Italy, or maybe they have even committed some crimes in Germany. Some of them might have been involved with drugs. Some might have been involved in crimes, fighting, some theft issue. Some of them talk about the train, actually dodging the train and not paying the train. These are all different examples of crimes that they've committed without knowing, or they just took it to be something simple or minor, and then it's hindering them or it's affecting their records and stuff. So for those people, their situation seems to be very complicated. I mean, you still will advise them to give their documentation, to the authorities?
No, I'm not saying to the authorities. I'm saying in the beginning. Like I'm saying in the beginning, when you have the possibility to work. This is a dreadful situation, like the one you just pictured. If somebody is not going to work or not going to school or leaving the home and living on the street just because he's sort of fleeing. I wonder, and it's very difficult. I'm not really sure what to recommend if you get to that stage, because I'm afraid that the police might sort of find you sooner or later, right? The thing is, in Germany, there are many controls in general. I could just give you an example. About 20 years ago, I had a mobile phone, and my mobile phone was stolen. And later on, I had another mobile phone that was stolen, and both phones were found again in Germany, because whenever the German police sort of stopped somebody, they would always take the phone and check if it was stolen. So in both cases, both of my phones that were stolen 20 years ago, both of them were returned. And isn't that crazy if you think about that, how the German system works, that there are controls out there, and let's say I am controlled by the police and they would take my phone and check if it was stolen. So what I'm trying to say is, I think it's very difficult to sort of hide in Germany from the police, especially sort of living on the street. So I would highly advise to try not to get into the situation where you have to run away, what would you do? What would I do? I think it's very complicated. Like the moment I know somebody would be looking for me, would I run away and try to hide and live in fear? Or would I turn myself in? It's a very, very difficult situation. What would you do? So what I'm trying to say is to all these people who are afraid of having a passport, I would highly recommend try to get one right in the beginning. Okay, let's say if you have a criminal record. Of course, it's difficult in the case of the criminal record. I was talking to a gentleman the other day. He was trying to get a passport, and he received a letter from immigration in Banjul saying that he will never get a passport issued from the Gambia because they're searching for him in the Gambia because he was a murderer. So he couldn't get a passport because he was accused of murder in Gambia. So I said, well, take this document and show that to the German authorities, say that the Gambians are looking for you because you're accused of murder, so you can't return to your country because you will immediately go to jail. So what I'm trying to say is try to make use of everything possible that will help you to sort of have a legal status to be on the safe side here in Germany. And don't let it come that far, and don't be afraid. I'm not passing on any data or anything. I think I've issued about 5,000 documents to Gambians, personal documents saying with their name and their address. I'm not storing any address. I'm not giving anything to anybody. Also, because I don't want to harm anybody. And second of all, it's completely forbidden to pass on any data without the consent of anybody. So if I would pass on data to anybody, this would get me in trouble. And I'm a legal person. I'm not a criminal person, and I'm here to help. And everybody who has dealt with me, I had 2 phone calls, one from a Gambian number and one from a German number during this interview now. So I will call them back afterwards. I have another appointment now, and then I will call the 2 numbers back, and I'm here to help.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. We truly appreciate you coming on air to talk to us.
Thank you, Pausman.
All right. Yes, thank you very much. That is George Bouché. He is the Gambian Consular to Germany right now. He was our guest. We were talking to Mr. George about the different things that actually have been rumored about the issue of Gambians living in Germany and the things that need to be cleared about it. We certainly appreciate him coming on air to talk to us. It has been a pleasure and good having him on board. Kon yena ko déggandoor ñu ngi waxtaane fii ci Nyohobai show tey li nga xam ne mooy affaire yi immigration ak deportation bi li mujjee wax kàddoom gi foofu la ñoo dellu rek Gambien si nekk Germany ak ñu nekk Europe ñu bari si yéen we often hear ne you are kind of naka not here sax a week ago when I had Ismaila Kante Mr. Hellfire. A lot of you were kind of laughing and joking, and he said it. A lot of you, a lot of the backway boys, Sagandey, Nahari Deret, Haste, and the like, dulen yobu fen, diger bopa, dulen yobu fen, deki tubabi dafa ute action dekai. We will move straight up to go into our own languages. Manak, I am used to getting insults. Whenever I bring things that you guys want, whenever I talk about the deportation, whenever I put the blame on the government or other institutions, I am your hero. But bes buma waxe otherwise, jox len advice or say some of the things that you are doing, ngeen jappé ñu whatever. I have been hearing insults and cuss words. Waye lima wax rek wéda Pa Ousmane la wala anybody else, dafa baax ngeen bay sen xel, dafa baax ngeen jema am yer. ñu bari si yéen képp ku si am yar nag you don't have to worry képp ku si nekku di saaga niti di forcer niti wala di bully niti you don't have to worry about it. But if that is your attitude na nga xam ne loolu du la yóbbu kanam. Even recently when we post videos or anything ci affaire Quranic recitation bi wala ñi ñoo seen videos yi you don't know what goes behind the scenes between ñun ak ñooñu suñ posté seen videos yi ne backway rapa wala backway lifin ngeen téye ko as a problem. Saganyu, oye names and other people. Is it a lie? Didn't you go to Europe through the back way? Let's accept the reality and responsibility. This is not only about, okay, you post dara and say backway rapper or backway artist or backway li wala backway lele. It is a fact that you came to Europe through the back way. Kepa kusi dem Europe, nga deglu say xarit, deglu say andandor, ñu wax la li wax la lele, yeni neen defuleen proper research waxuleen ak authorities yi waxuleen ak organizations yi help out you just rely on hearsay dégg ne parti dem na arrest nañ ko nga foog na yow it dañ laa arrest dégg ne parti dem na jox nañ ko kayit yow it dañ laa jox kayit dégg ne parti sëy na yow it dangaa sëy nga am kayit dégg ne parti def na lele yow it nga foog ne danga koo def. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately, my people. I will say this to you guys. Immigration is a very complicated and complex issue, and for that reason you should be able to know that is individualized. So jëlee sa condition foog na sa condition ak condition yi keneen benn la yaa ngeen nax sa boppa. So try to make hay while the sun shines. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. Do proper research. Find legal help if you can. Ku si mun a jël lawyer jëlal lawyer. Ku si mun a liggéey while you save up liggéeyal dama leen dee wax ne seen situation is very dear and personal to me. You know why? Because dama ko dunda. Wax naa leen suma story over and over. Duma si delu. Wax naa leen ne dem naa jail over 4 months with the intention of ñu ma jéema delloo. I'm back to the Gambia. Wax naa leen ne téel nañ ma defal ma a monitoring bracelet si suma tànka bi for ay years yoo xam ne monitoring bracelet bii nii mu ngi si suma tànka bi. Wax naa leen several things yoo xam ne daj naa ko time bi ma dunda am in deportation in America. Wax naa leen ne 10 years maa ngi si immigration system bi di xaar pour ñu deport ma Gambia every day ma foog ne dañ ma jël si pour yóbbu ma. Telephone bi ngeen a gis, I had this phone back then. It has a lot of documents. It has some videos and stuff. Yoo xam ne depuis buñ ma deport la. This is a psychic phone that I have back in the days. Sani umako betay because this is very dear to me. This phone that you guys are seeing, gis ngeen naka la screen bi mel. I had this phone over 13 years ago. Depuis biñ ma jàppee. So same situation is very dear to me, and that is why I don't compromise it. That is why if nobody is talking about deportation, I talk about it. I sat down here, dama daan talk every day maa ngi talk si kaw nen foog ne immigration dinañ ma jël si. You can see if I talk about this, I am very, very emotional because dama ko dunda. Ma dunda yeneen family members yu ko dunda biir America fii xam naa naka la métti. Over 10 years maa ngi si immigration system yi America bi di dem di report yi always time bu ma reporté ma foog ne dañ maa jël si ñu ma laaj ma provide suma document ak passport man suma boppa ma am pour make efforts biñ ma jàppee apply na passport travel document to the Gambian embassy, apply na travel document to the Senegalese embassy, apply na travel document to the German embassy, to the English British embassy, to the Swedish embassy, different embassies around the world. You ma foog ne maybe potentially dinañ ma jox lii but complying with the law because loolu la loi bi waxoon moo tax biñ ma jàppee after 4 months amuñ suma kayit ñu bàyyi ma ba pare ma nekk on an order of supervision bëgguñ ma woon a bàyyi ñu defal ma monitoring bracelet on my leg di ma monitor for good 9 months ma jógee ci loolu am pour go through the system so many times te wax naa leen ko one of the reason lu tax ma jógee Atlanta gi ma nekkoon dem ba Alaska dëkk fa one of the reasons has to do with immigration. Alaska dafa oversedda dafa oversori dafa overshare mbir so lan moo ma safe staying out of trouble and complying with the law. Li ngeen a def nekk on social media li ngeen a def nekk on Facebook di saaga ñiti ndey di post threats ak wax yenn yi it can put you in trouble, believe it or not unless ngeen use fake accounts. Yéen a ngi use seen accounts yéen a ngi post pictures yéen a ngi def live videos yéen a ngi wane clubs si ngeen nekk yéen a ngi share seen locations yi on Instagram, on Twitter, on Snapchat and everywhere else. Gambia government mënuñoo prevent Germany from taking you back home. Loolu na leer si suñ boppay ñun ñëpp. What they can do is negotiate better deals. Wax naa leen deals yooyu wax naa leen what they can do. Ñu yëg seen yelleef bañ a facilitate identification process bi ñu yombal ko. Wax leen dëgga su dee ñoom ñoo yónni citizen si foofu. Immigration pour ñu ñëw identify lañ the least they can do is lie to you guys, is lie to us to tell us ne yónni wuñ fa kenn fekk ñoo fa yónni nit. Loolu is wrong te we will continue to condemn that. Yes, we will continue to condemn that. Leneen li nga xam ne they can do is to help you guys to make sure they negotiate better deals. Balañ leen a deport ndax mun nañoo delay loolu ñu joxagum leen documentation for example ngeen nekk foofu noonu ñu waxtaan ak gaay na leen suñ dëkk bi safeut ba tey ñu ngi am different issues that are going on ñu ngi dégg shootout yu xew démba rek kii ñu rey kii ñu shoot rather in Kanilai ak yeneen problems yoo xam ne ñu ngi go foofu economic present in the country. There are several things that they can use to actually advise the German government ne ñun kat pareeguñ suñ loxo jotagut suñ gannaaw wala dégeraguñ ñun nguuri jàppandal lañ amee but that is what happens if the government is busy trying to consolidate themselves in power rather than representing the interests of the people. Suñ xamee ne ñoom nguuri jàppandal la bot suñ gisee ne président baa ngee consolidate boppam mu ngee jéem a taxawal boppam mu ngee assurer Gambia amuñ problème Gambia nice Gambia lii Gambia lii te waxuñ gaay dëgga yes German si duñ def dara dut ñoom tamit ñu intensify seen process bi put more pressure and actually def li ñoo def nde by force dañ leen a génnee léegi. We have German governments coming to the Gambia. We see European government pumping a lot of money. Right now, this GIZ project bi mu ngi go on in Gambia. GIZ Tech Ifi project. which is a new project that GIZ started pour actually help Gambians mun gën a tekki si biir dëkk bi ñu ngi launch a lot of projects last week rek wan nañ leen coverage boobu at GTTI wan nañ leen I am saying this because lii lu ma xam la I am passionate about it and we are participating in this project we are if not the only media house that covers these programs GIZ seen project bi is called Gis Tekki Fi project. They have musicians benefiting from this project. They have artists benefiting from this project. They have technicians benefiting from this project. They have different institutions, including GTTI, including MDI, including Inside Training Center. We cover these programs. I know it because I am very involved with the project. So the Europeans, this is funded by the European Union. This is funded by the World Bank and the International Trade Center. So there are benefits. Government Europe, government other countries, ñu ngi invest in Gambia to actually support. Gis nañ the GTTI annex being established fele ci Mansakonko. Yi yep European countries are funding yu ñoo jéema provide la wala help yu ñoo jéema provide la. So da ngeen foog ne Europeans yi dañ dof dinañ nekk di def all of these things for Gambia and at the end of the day they don't want you guys out of their countries. Dem na ñëw na yep dañ bëgg ngeen génn seen dëkk bi. Now, with this interview, I am very happy. And I want the Gambian authorities to learn from this. I never had this guy's contact. I only interviewed Yaya Barki Demba. Yaya Sonko, the refugee right advocate. Si dimas bi ci lutax Gambia du dem show bi mu jox ma nombi ki ma contact ko ne ko dama la bëgga am ñu waxtaan establish time and everything send ma sa natal mu send ma ko luma ko laaj ci information mu jox ma ko ñu have an appointment at 4 o'clock by 3:45 3:50 he was online ñu def suñ testing and everything and as you can see ñëw na answer all the questions ñu ko laaj to the best of his ability. This is somebody volunteering his time to work for the Gambia government, to work for the Gambian people, and our people is very hard ñu ngi ci frustrate ñu rek si lañ dëkka kuñ si contract si ñoom ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk in position of responsibilities ñoom ñu war a wax whether immigration la whether police bi la whether nguur gi la each of them that have a voice who can talk and are able to say something to the Gambian people ñu ngi si daw ñu rek ñu ngi si play ñu games ñu ngi si njuuj njaaj ñu ngi si def naka sudut noonu when it comes to sharing information or not telling the Gambian people the truth na ngeen xam ne Gambians si ñoo leen fa teg and it's important that you talk to the people and gone are the days when we are going to relent. Because for example wax ngeen ki nekk ci ground bi ki nga xam ne yéen a ko fa teg mu ñëw teggi li ngeen wax. Now don't be surprised, in fact that's one question I forget to ask him. Don't be surprised the next minute ñu revoke honorary consular biñ ko jox nii because of this interview bu leen surprise. Next minute ñu ne Mr. George mi génnee nañ ko nekkatut consular of Gambia in Germany, and yes, from the information we got he's been very helpful. This is coming from a lot of people. The fact na mun na moo ñëw suñ authorities ñu ngi ñoo fenal ñu ngi ñoo mbaamal ñu ngi ñoo nax moom mu mun a ñëw toog rek wax ñu dëgga at the soonest possible time biñ ko soxlaa jël time am 1 hour 30 minutes to talk to me, and we were behind the scenes for way longer than that, and fan yi yëpp maa ngi chat ak moom di discuss ak moom suñ authorities yi dañ ñoo avoid dañ ñoo daw comme doma and we are only here to do a job to educate and inform and entertain our people. And we want to bring you facts and nothing but facts, but it's very hard. It's very hard about any and every case. Gambians who nekk Gambia in the ground that are working in different institutions, in the government institution. Na ngeen xam ne dañ leen fa teg pour ngeen liggéey, na ngeen xam ne dañ leen fa teg pour ngeen jàppale askan bi. Dañ leen nekk di fay taxpayers money. So askan bi suñ soxlaa to hear from you, you need to talk. And not only do the talking, in fact, you need to work. Wax naa ko multiple times nag. You need to represent the interests of the Gambian people. Stop misleading people. Tomorrow, Office of the President, ñu ngi am a press briefing. We have been called today about it. We will be attending it. Dinañ ko cover. Follow leen ñu online. We will be going to that press briefing. But when we even go to these press briefings, a lot of the questions that we ask, they just started it last month again after stopping it for several months, almost a year bi dooree ba tey. President bi daf daan am annual meet the media tour. Stop na ko depuis bi mu waxee where were you Dr. Cissé bañ ŋàñña ko ci joobe ko ci ñu bari wax ko ci la stop that press briefing bi mu daan am annually ba barki démb Njaay bi mu amee interview ak Aruna Dramé of Paradise TV, and we've all seen the way Aruna questions yi mu ko jot a laaj jotu ñoo àgg ak moom si real issues yi nga xam ne ñoo affect Gambien si tey jotu ñoo waxtaanee loolu. Last press briefing bu gaay am last time bi ñu waxtaanee yofi mbuuru mi, and some of the questions we asked, the answers they gave were misleading or not correct or at all. Not correct at all. telling Gambians that the price of flour have remained the same for the past 1 year. When Kijay Mburu, Kinga Hamne Moy, the president of the Sinful Breads Association, Bimako interviewed that Sunday, Wednesday, Len Jefferson press conference nyom. That Sunday la interview Koko Malaj Koko correction be Koko Munema the past 1 year, price Mburu, price foreign rather, egna for more than $400 is 3 different type of foreign len am in Gambia. Bena bi mung don jar $7.95 fatena turi foreign brands. Bena bi $8.95, benen bi 900 and change. Right now the cheapest one from what he said is costing 1,200 and something. And Mrs. Amibojang Sisoho told us the press briefing bobu the price of foreign e good bobu betay. Is it her doing? Did it? Dafa call rek the people involved at the Ministry of Trade ak ñeneen ñi ñooñu ñoko jox misinform jox ko this information, and she came and presented that to the Gambian people. Should she follow due diligence? Should they be able to verify? And yes, I'm saying that daf ñu misinform because ñun dañ make the effort to actually go to the place that sells this foreign ñu laajte ñi jaay foreign ñu wax ñu the price of foreign. Te képp ku ko bëgg a vérifier sa bopp yéen citizens yi dem leen ngeen lijjanti price yi foreign ñaata la léegi is more than $1,200 is the cheapest bag of foreign. And the video is there. If you watch it, you will hear Ami Boyang Sissoho telling us ne price foreign wasn't actually a good DP for the past 1 year. That's misleading information. Amna several other things yo xamne laajte nañ ko, either they did not answer it wala ñu ko answer in other ways. Kon, that is our message to the government workers. Be prepared to work and deliver for the Gambian people. You are not doing any Gambian a favor. You are paid to work for the people. Dore ko si president be watch to the last civil servant, whether you are a cleaner, whether you are a messenger, whether you are a driver, whatever your role is, you are not doing anybody any favor. Whether you are a director, whether you are a technocrat, whether you are a permanent secretary, whatever your role is, a manager of whatever it is, lose a role, lose a position, then la hire pour nga ligéyal Gambian public be, and you are not doing anybody a favor. Bay len di ñew ligéy si 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock ngeen dem dewo ji be 10, 11 o'clock bala na commencé liggéey loolu du fem te taxut Gambien si teg leen fa. It is not. Bàyyi leen ñëw liggéey si 11, 12 o'clock ngeen génn dem si marché yi doxi seen errands wala dem takkali seen rakka yeeg seen mag yeeg seen lifini jabar wala dem dëj or other places. It is important, but this is the order of the day. Every week that you come to work, you will have a day or two boo xam ne su doon every week sax soo ñëwee out of sa 8 hours yi nga war a liggéey wala 9 hours di nga productive for 6 hours, 7, one can understand. But the average civil servant's employment in the Gambia, when you go to work, xam ngeen li ma wax, you are not productive for more than 4 hours. Danga am file su tege sa desk bi ñu la xaar pour nga participate, ñu la xaar pour nga def li pour nga def lele, nga nekk ci sa personal errands. Ida nga nekk on Facebook. Don't be surprised that as we are having this show, some of them were watching us. We like you watching us. Ndax lolu mo len fa tek dedet tegut len fa. It is the bottom line. Ngeen nekk on Facebook, nekk on Snapchat, nekk on Instagram, nekk on Twitter, on social media, following the discourse and participating in it. Some of them even doing live feeds, snapping, while people are sitting down in your office waiting for you. As Sana Sabali said in his testimony, I take his story of when he went to the hospital, when the principal doctor, principal whatever, Master Damfa, whatever his name is, his wife was on labor. Mu talk for several hours. Depuis si suba be 5 o'clock ci ngoon laajte ñu nurse bi ñu ne ko nurse bi dafa dem si kër faram bi dem yaata yumbe dem jaay xolle dem def bem déguisé bom dem toppatoo sa boppa. When people are in labor, when people are in dying, every single day, including Tay Musi Joge, I have somebody that contacted us. Tay Musi Joge, somebody that contacted us. Nelan ne system dafa nekk in a dire situation. Dafa soxla medical help. Dañ ko diagnose. People are being misdiagnosed in the Gambia. There are no, suñ hospitals amna a lot of things yoo xam ne ñu ko soxla amuñ ko in the hospitals. A lot of resources yuñ soxla. People that should be acting. Doctor bu nekk on duty. You bari mu war ko def du ko nango def. It's very important. I will read this message. This person says, hello, my name is Mamadou. I will not say his last name. I have a sister who has kidney problems, and the doctor recommended that she need to be taken to abroad to transplant. So we really want to meet you guys to help me post it on your page. To post it on your page. every single time ngeen gis ñi ñoo post ñoo xam ne dañ soxla help in Gambia, medical help. Now, ñi wara def these recommendations, ñi wara def liggéey yi ni, people go there and the nurse, the doctor, the director, the whoever, whatever your position is, mayor kayit bo wara sign, mayor phone call bo wara make, wala mayor things yo wara def, appointments yi nga am, you don't take care of them. They run sa personal errands. Yi ñoo wara jeex ci dëkk bi. These are some of the reasons why our young people are scared. But to be focused again and coming back on track to yen ñi nga xam ne yéen a nekk Germany and other places, xam ngeen dëkk bi nim fa demee Jolof, you will be making a lot of mistake by sitting down thinking, okay, blaming the government and insulting them and calling them names. Dina tax at the end of the day, whether government workers yi work nañ or not, at the end of the month they will reclaim their salary, dinañ leen fay. Yow yaay toog foofu nag balaa nga xam delloo nañ la, while yaa ngi jéem a lii, instead of nga jéem a regroup sa boppa, lijjanti liggéey on the side, seet naka ngaa ñafee dajale as tuut loo yónnee Gambia pour invest fa dara, wala am loo xam ne di nga si mun a jàppa. Continue to be on social media, continue cussing people out, or continue di saaga nit ñi ndey, instead of regrouping yourself, instead of meeting lawyers, instead of doing research on the internet, instead of meeting refugee rights advocates and organizations, instead of trying to get accurate information, trying to meet the authorities, trying to find out, compare your story with others, trying to meet lawyers and legal practitioners. Nga spend ko talk ci ghetto gi, talk di waxtaan ak boy, di dem club every weekend, di naan sangara, di tuxtaay, di sàcca, di jump train bi, and all the criminal things that you can possibly do. At the end of the day, loolu yëpp du la njëriñ dara. Try to engage yourself productively. Try to find work su dee yaa ngi amee liggéey, continuel di liggéey ba time bu la yàlla di jàppale. Kon lii mooy li nga xam ne moom lañ indiloon tey ci Nyohobai show. Pa Ousmane Diouf la maa ngi leen ay bëggee share leen vidéo bi, du leen wàññi waaye dinañu yokka ñu nit dina am kenn ku si jàngee one or two things yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen ay déglu di seetaan on YouTube ak wherever you are. Ñu ngi leen ay bëggee si seen déglu bu rafet ak seen seetaan bu rafet. I will read some of your question, your messages. Lamin Suare mune Pa Ous, what of those white people who come to Africa through Morocco by land? How do you call them? Well, look at our answer. Aisha Jallo mune Bakwe is not a bad name. They are heroes. Exactly. Lion Bless Mune, I am working in Germany. I never commit a crime and I have unlimited contract. They are trying to stop my job. Well, Mr. Demna, we will continue to do more research on those things. Wala book wax na ne su ngeen demee Google ngeen search turam Gambian Consul in Germany, di ngeen gis turam ak telephone number ak information yep mun ngeen ko contact wala kuma contact man suma boppa dinañ leen jox number boobu noonu through our Facebook page or YouTube channel. Dinañ leen jox number bi wala boog ñu bari si yéen a ngi amee suñ WhatsApp number bi su ngeen ñu contacter rek leave us a voice message. Dina profito wax leen loolu ñu bari si yéen dañ ñu dee call su ngeen callee fekk maa ngi on air wala fekk maa ngi def something suma liggéey bi lu bari I am not able to talk to you guys. If you leave me a voice message, if you leave me a text message, I will be able to respond to you. Dina leen send message, dina leen call back wala ma send leen a message. We can communicate that way. That way it will be helpful. So képp koo xam ne soxla nga information, if you call benn yoon sax dina it can be enough. But ñun ak yéen we have a big time difference. It's exactly 11:01 si suba fii yéen mu ngi guddi si yéen at this minute. So when you call me and I am not available to take your calls, wala mu ngi guddi ñu ngi si different time di you continue to call benn yoon ñaari yoon ñetti yoon, definitely it costs me a lot of inconvenience, especially su fekkee ma nekk on air and you insist to call. So always leave me a voice message and we will be glad. Lion mune I am working in Germany. Okay, Lamin mune ko bless your government, not a joke. Why are they not deporting Bissau Guineans? Mune lu tax ne koñ di deport ñooñu Bissau Guineans yi. Ñu ngi leen ay bëggee bu baax a baax fu ñu waay di dégloo ci ñenente koñ àdduna penku xarpu ngopp wala ngalandu si seen déglu bu rafet bi. Prince Cissé mu ne God Allah will pay you my brother who feels it knows it. Africa mu ne most of them are in government to enrich themselves. Thierno Diallo mu ne Pa Ous, white people tell always the truth. Mu ne tubaab yi dañ dee wax dëgg. Mike Joe mu ne you are hitting the nail on the head brother. Aliou Dabo mu ne definitely bro, we have to be careful because we know Gambia government cannot start their own citizens. Africa Sankaranka mune, I wish the government could hear this advice. Lole Nyang mune, he who feels it knows it. Mike mune, you are hitting the nail on the head. Prince Sise mune, God Allah will pay you my brother, he who feels it knows it. Bakari Damfa mune great advice about back way guys. Harriet Joyna anti nyung lay nuyu mune Gambia we have a long way to go muy dega bu wér. Ibrahima Cham mune 2 hours productivity 2 hours of productivity muy dega bu wér. 2 hours 3 hours subare be bari, they don't do more than 4 hours, and that is very unfair to the Gambian people. They need to do better than that. And some people will still support them even if they are wrong because of their family ties. Muy dëgga bu wér, and that is unfortunate that we see people doing wrong. Instead of telling them the truth, we end up delaying praise because they are our family members, our friends, or just because we are blinded by our relationship with them, and that is very unfair. Ibrahim, great that you mentioned Sana Sabali's point about the attitudes of the civil servants. Muy dëgga bu wér. Take anything from Sana, but he has a valid point on all of those things. Johanna, different examples of how the Gambian civil service is, the corruption that is in there, and a lot of things yo xamne Sana waxon nako, which is very important. The Shami warrior vibes, mune everything is blank in the Gambia, only God knows. Ejigente won Sane, mune attitudinal change is the bottom line. To be honest, we have a long way to go. Muy dega bu wér. Africa no Sankaro mune thanks for the advice pa. Aliou Dabo mune thank you. Harriet mune thank you, great show pa. Musa Jete mune my brother, no one is perfect, they lie too much. Muy dega bu wér. Corey Veronique Mendy mu ne hyper kon ñu ngi leen ay bëggee yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen ñuy déglu yéen ñi ñuy toppa fu si waaye nekk ci ñeneen ko ñu àdduna penku xarpu ngopp wala ngalanu comme ni ma leen ko waxee. Doing our job is very difficult. They tell us demal tey elek tey as we speak. My team in the Gambia ñu ngi Sanyang to actually interview the Nambarakunda family, ñom ñi nga xamne ñom lañ wax ne ñoo nekk di 6 laane Kunkujang Mariama bi. They already had that interview with the people from Sanyang. Ñu ngi wara dem be Kunkujang Mariama interview wa Kunkujang. Ñu ngi wara interview wa physical planning ñom ñi nga xamne ñoo involved ak Ministry of Local Government and Lands. Ñu ngi wara interview the district Combo South District Tribunal to ask them questions about this particular case. So lim involved dafa bari. We are always giving the running around. Come today, come tomorrow. Come today, come tomorrow. Different things happening. We had another team that went out, Talib Bensouda and Rohi Malik Lo. It is their 1-year anniversary, and we did a documentary. So ngeen tope gis ngeen earlier ñu ngi indi the version in which we interviewed Talib Bensouda. Rohi Malik Lo ñu ko wara interview. We are going out to ask the citizens of KMC and Banjul to tell us what they feel about these people and the job that they did in the past 1 year. Li yep halis moko dépasse, li yep resources la. Demba gis ngeen ñu indi leen multiple projects, indil nañ leen the interview or the word or the message that the Banjul Breweries employees had for the government. Indil nañ leen demonstration bi nga xamne operation 3 years jotna seen press conference bi gaay doon am indiloon nañ leen ko ak yeneen projects yoo xamne we showed it to you guys. It's very difficult to do all of these things. Motax ñu ngi leen a ñaax always pour ngeen jàppale ñu, ndax su ngeen ñu jàppale dina am solo. Yeen ñi nekk through the back way, a lot of you are contacting us again to actually do something about this deportation issue. It's very difficult to get information. They give us the running around and we have very limited issues, limited resources to actually facilitate this process. So motax ñu ngi leen a ñaax pour ngeen jàppale ñu so that we will be able to do the work and do it well. Xeebuñ anything, any amount that any one of you can donate, it will be helpful to us. Dinañu jàppale pour ñu gëna mëna def liggéey bi ni nga xamne non ngeen ko bëggee pour indi leen information, because dañ ñu nekk di daw 24/7 di ñu dawloo ay tamit. So suñ demee benn yoon ñaari yoon ñetti yoon gaay nanguwuñ rek. We don't have our own car ci Gambia, loolu la yàlla dogal. We are not ashamed to tell you that we don't have our own car. So su ngeen ñu jàppale definitely dina yombal loolu. Imaginal benn fan ñu yónni 3 crew 4 crew, ñi dem Birkama, ñi dem Banjul, ñi dem Sanyang ba ci dex gi. We want to be able to go there, but unfortunately we don't have the resources. Su ngeen ñu jàppale ñu am suñ own moto, su ngeen ñu jàppale ñu am suñ own cameras, su ngeen ñu jàppale ñu am mun a employ more people, we will be able to actually bring you all the different things yoo xam ne moom ngeen bugga. Until then we are definitely short and lu bari loo xam ne yéen a ngi ko soxla si ñun wala yéen a ngi bugga ñu def coverage boobu duñ ko mun a am. So click on the links yi nga xam ne moom laa seen foofu, wala ngeen yónneel ñu xaalis bi in Gambia. Su dee da ngeen ñu bugga donate through PayPal, gambiantalents@gmail.com mooy suñ PayPal account bi, gambiantalents@gmail.com. Su fekkee ne nag yéen a ñu bugga donate through the Gambia, number to dial is 678 608 33 no 7 astafurlah maa ngi jaawale loolu lu tuuti the number to dial su dee yaa ngi am 7833524 7833524 is the number to dial yéen ñi nekk bitim réew su ngeen a yónnee seen allowance ak remittances yi to Gambia wala boog yéen ñu nekk Gambia ngeen bugg a donate fu si waay nekk mun ngaa contribute su fekkee ne rafetlu ngeen li ñoo def su fekkee ne gëm ngeen li ñoo def su fekkee ne you rely on us for news and information about the Gambia if you rely on us for entertainment about the Gambia or from Gambia support us ñu ngi war a def suñ ndewenal programme bi where we will be road to ndewenal we will be going to multiple people si biir dëkk bi pour ziare leen this year I am glad to confirm to you ne Aliou Momar Njie the chairman of the IEC has confirmed dinañ dem ziare ji ko day after Tobaski dinañ dem ziare ji ki nga xam ne mooy Aji Yam Seka the deputy party leader of the United Democratic Party she has confirmed dinañ dem ziare ji Fabakary Tombong Jatta the party leader of the APRC dinañ dem ziare ji ki nga xam ne mooy Jaliba Kuyate dinañ dem ziare ji ki nga xam ne mooy Jali Nene Suso moom mi nga xam ne of course is one of the golden voices of the Gambia dinañ ziare ji Pamalek Mbay Mad Dragon borom Mam Jara production dinañ ko dem ziare ji and we of course have other people in the lineup musicians Biggie Rosie of course is one of the people ñoo xam ne dinañ ko dem seeti ñu ngi contact some of them still but I can tell you Mayor of KMC Talib Bensouda is another person that we will be visiting as well. So we have a lineup of 15 people ñoo xam ne ñoom lañ war a dem visiter pour korité bi dinañ soxla transportation dinañ soxla credit bi ñoo use cameras yi of course fuel and all the other logistics lekka because it's a whole day project the food that they will be buying during this process and of course entertainers yi dinañ ànd ak ay entertainers ñi nga xam ne ñoo leen a entertain ay bongo men ay kora player pa Bobo Jobaate dina ànd ak ñun and we of course have the tama guy and all the other people ñoo xam ne foog ñu teg dara ci seen loxo plus the presentation crew so loolu yëpp dépense bi dafa bari our budget is more than $60,000 just pour run that project just pour indi leen li xew ci Gambia ak suñu njiit yi ak suñ kilifa yi naka lañ celebrate seen julli loolu lañ leen a wan rek at the end of the day ñu ñaanalante ak yéen is very important kon su ngeen ñu jàppalee dina help towards that project dina help to put money in the pockets of the young people that we are training gis ngeen internship programme bi ñoo def di train young people and giving them transportation allowance wala di fay ñeneen ñi si ñoom is very expensive kon su ngeen ñu jàppalee dina am solo ñu ngi leen ay bëggee bu baax a baax we will love to not only see you tell us keep it up yéen a ngi def a good job but we will love to see you contribute to us and contribute financially kon ñu ngi leen ay bëggee ci lu tax ci Nyohobai show inshallah dinañ leen indil other guests areñaguñ kenn waaye suñ ko defee rek fii ba weekend bi dinañ leen indil other guests ci Nyohobai show if this is your first time following us don't forget to like our Facebook page Gambian Talents Promotion don't forget to follow us on Twitter Instagram or Snapchat Gambian Talents Promotion don't forget to like subscribe to our YouTube channel share this video to raise awareness du leen wàññi waaye dinañu yokka loolu lañ soxla rek awareness information is power if you learn anything from this video if you see yourself in any way in this video share it with your colleagues and your loved ones share it in your WhatsApp groups share it on your Facebook page share it on your YouTube page share it on your Instagram Twitter or any other channel until we come your way again. If you subscribe, you will see all the videos that we post. And don't forget to contribute financially. Jërë ngeen jëf. Till we come back.
Yeah, but it's not until I have somewhere to go.
No problem. Some seconds.
Yeah, it's yes.
Some seconds. One moment, some
All right, okay, just
some seconds. Yeah. No.
You got it. Yo, you got chene kuwa memfoni. Nga kuwa topotole.
Okay.
Nga keno soto rumbale, keno nyinga lo kutale, je kuwa beti matale. Kukilinde kurangote je jiyoteje. Barisilo membeje. Kode da be odugu kan.
Okay.
Sambi veje de da.
Okay.
Keno lo kubata rumba.
That's fine. Ala price though.
Almost $300,000.
$300,000. Yes, that's perfect. Okay. Iteria ngataje.
No, karamundo.
Kata rumba.
Rumba.
Yeah.
Inna lillahi. Rumba bi woto mudula zamde longo demal blanen bi. Kerango samano ni la fo sifa do teta rumba. Rumba mo kata siwo. Na ko makilim foy. Ngoy gambe jela jambi ni la fa kenola. Ila fa kenola. Ini Kairasu Properties and Investment Limited yo ñomoy. Kairasu.
Okay.
Ni ñomoy don ise won. Ye kenol soto tujere. Ye kenol soto jambu. Ye kenol soto bla dami da ka fu jel la men daran ka fen bi jam.
Daran ka ya.
Okay. Munje ku rongo be je. Ni la rumba. Na boy su ngoy Kairasu Properties and Investment Limited ye. Ida male ñun no. Ñun sunkaro bu ñana la foromo kono. Ibe la men daran kay ba wa fi la $200,000 ka. Ndu ni la fa fanan ka do man njoy ka fa me mortgage. Ibe $250,000 la modi. Ndu no 6 months karo kon le ba be jola. Ndu ba jola nyaadi ibe 50% la duna ni 50% no dundi. Ñun to men to je ka do man njo fa ñin kar woro kono yaba. Kairasu Properties and Investment Limited ñun sunkaro kono ko mo be borje $200,000 la men daranka ibe je wa fi la mo le bor kan to mo le bor kan. Na boss ta je de. Wolton place do mi yalan ko mo ñanda fa la je.
I think I will go in for that.
Thank you.
Go. Ite la kuwa dole be jawul mu hasidi alti wayi. Imanya ne da benna business o tinya.
Wula kono business on do kala.
No, imanya na nyin kala wayi. Wula ko boss ite. Di me hadulo du de penso de be bla moto kuwa drone ne la jam.
Wala fi zara rumba kene ma.
I'm really sorry, okay? Ibokunga ni daughter, okay? I think Kairasu suits my business more.
Yes, no problem.
Na boss. Basti je. Ni ana FM fo bande be tonya la fole. Bi mol ka bor da me mbela fele bor wolto. Sa banko be ka bor da me mbela fele bor wolto. Kairasu mol ka bor wolto la kenolu be bla be fota fele ni sagal kono jam. Ban ni la fa fele tali la office. Fendi jang karba ameni jang.
Okay.
Jara do Atlas essentiel o ñu bu ñoo ñu sando do lebe je. Ni be futa je drop. Ibe keno sotu. Ibe se won.
Perfect.
Yes. Sambe ko.
Okay, if I
Yes, sambe ko.
Yeah, hello? Is that Kairasu? Okay, I will just pop in your office in less than 20 minutes, okay? Yes.
La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Dawda Jawara barika. Gambia man la jalima di yena get setan Gambian talent. Fila de bulen bay fi de fila feri nek
nañ ko sanni fele simbalit gi ndele xale ndaw yi toog di ko foye fele door leen di seetaan Gambia talent promotion, you get me? They promoted only Gambians and this is our own thing, Gambia, you get me? So my fans, so leen ma bëggee gis boy fii rek la boy, si hot platform bii la boy, you get me? This is how we do it.